everybody's weekend? Good. Did who work? The whole excellent. I attended a 10-month-old for 3 days. And I never worked so hard in my whole life. So happy to be here. It puts real estate in perspective, because that's really hard. Let's do our on-time trivia. One of our agents just became a MAPS coach. Who is it? Sean, you already know. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having it, Sean.
What's your Wells?
Mike Walters?
Mike Walters. The gift card.
Take us both to lunch.
Mike, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that was a 16-week process. That was very difficult, I hear.
Yeah, it was like 38 of us, and yeah, it's 4 to 5 hours a week of what you need to do.
Congratulations. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud to have you here. All right, let's do some, well, actually, first, do we have any new agents or visitors with us today? Who are you?
I'm Jordan. I just finished my pre-licensing.
Oh,
Yay!
You after. Oh, that's so wonderful. Welcome. Happy to have you. Thank you. Anyone else? Everybody? We got some people we haven't seen for a little while. That's kind of nice. You don't have to stand up. Oh, please.
My name is Noor Magisto. I just joined the Carol Williams last week.
Yay.
Thank you.
I think I got everybody. All right, let's do some bucket filling. Who has someone to thank, some gratitude to express?
Someone got sick, so I got to do their open house on Saturday.
That's terrible when you jump on opportunity.
I did. And she said she liked my enthusiasm so much that she's like, I'll let you do other open houses.
That's amazing. That's a good job.
I mean,
Sorry, whoever's sick, I'm sorry.
I was great.
I'm glad you took it to Connor.
Phoenix and Brandon have both been really helping me out with my listing presentation and getting ready for that. So I really appreciate you guys for that.
And you
First
have-
listing.
First listing.
Yeah. I'm in today.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how it begins. Congratulations. Mike.
Yeah, so Sean, I thanked him privately, but he was one that stood in and did 3 or 4 half-hour-long videos with me playing the role of a client when I was a coach that I had to send in. Monica, she will let you, by the way. But no, really, he spent 2 hours out of his, couple of weeks to help me fulfill one of my goals. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's why I may have known that you became a master.
Oh.
I helped him out with it.
I'm not giving you the card now.
That's
How is he
I
as a
own
client,
inside.
Mike?
What's that?
How is he as a client? Coachable?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this business is thriving.
I love that. I love that.
I wanted to thank Shan Silmos and Lady Martinez. They've been taking wonderful care of 2 commercial referrals. They're awesome.
So you got a commercial opportunity to pass it on to the expert. You're taking a referral on that?
Correct. Yes,
That's wonderful. That's what we all should do, right?
yes, yes.
We're trying to do some commercial. Thank you.
Commercial, yes.
Well, Broker Dave's happy about that as well, I think. Lisa.
I want to thank Phoenix and Lynette and Stacy for coming to my open house, one of my open houses this weekend in Park City, and Mark for helping me on Sunday.
How did that go, the broker open?
The broker, not very well, not very many, but Saturday we had at least 15 groups through, so.
That's wonderful. Well, and I think in this market, we're gonna be doing more and more broker opens. I think that'll start to become.
Well, I
part of
did find out that Park City does their broker opens on Wednesday.
Everybody else.
So, yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad they could be
But
there.
it was just a big one.
Margaret.
I would say thank to Phoenix again. He was in the office, he helped me to get some copies for the list I'm trying to get. You put an ad, so always be so helpful to know an ad.
That's she's the best. Thank you, Beatrice. Dave?
I don't even know specifically who this goes out to. I had one of those family things that required me to step away from the business come up. And everybody that allowed me to do that, my team, my business is thriving in spite of my absence. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you. People are there for you.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay, let's go to our cultural icon, Sabrina.
She's on Zoom,
Oh.
and she's messaging me.
Oh,
She wanted me to specifically say this, the way that it's worded. She wants to give it to Whitney as payback, so you can all embarrass her all week long. I said, I don't think it's really set up as like you give it back to the person who gave it to you. So she said, then Cameron Burnside, because he deserves some more fun in his life. Quote from Sabrina's ears. I am just a messenger.
okay, well, a little like
So Cameron Burnside, yay!
18 years, everybody's getting the draft.
I mean, she even said,
That's
I am,
not right.
what did she say? I figured, but I don't listen to most rules.
I understand.
And I was like, I love that. I'm here for it.
Thank you. We'll pass it on to Cameron.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, Dave.
Boy, I'll be quick. I want to bill Phoenix a bucket for finishing a file that's been sitting there for a month, but anyway. And John for keeping business going. He was actually having an active weekend, so happy for you. Talked on Witsy this morning. Apparently last week or the week before in Boyd's Wealth Building, he talked about see, it always comes from Witsy. For you guys that are not joining us at Witsy, please do come by. It's good conversation. Talked about the possibility of seller financing in our own lives and all this kind of stuff. And we talked this morning about, do the sellers have a balance and what that might do, or what precautions we might have to take. So where do we have a concern with seller financing?
Do on sale clauses.
Do on sell clauses, and do we go back and review their documents to make sure that they're good?
The loan docs?
No, thank you. Because we're not attorneys and we're not reviewing their documents. Our rule in the real estate world and our license basically says we are supposed to inform them of the possibility of a due on sell clause. We don't review their documents and all that kind of stuff. But for us to not bring up that possibility is neglect on our contract with them, and probably opening us up to exposure in a lawsuit if that were to happen. And so, did you go back and check, Andy, by any strange chance, is it paragraph 14?
In the past 14 minutes since I
I
talked to you.
I think it's paragraph 14, I don't know, but in the exclusive right to sell agreement, it talks about the possibility of a due on sell clause and seller financing and all that kind of stuff, and what might be happening. A little get out of jail free card for us, because the majority of us are now doing things e-docs, and we're having a hard time proving that we had the conversations that we were supposed to be having, is have them initial next to that paragraph that they are aware. And then if an offer comes that way, then, you know, that's, again, if it goes south, we've got to get out of jail free card. But for our clients' standpoint, are there assumable loans out there?
Yes.
Percentage wise, what do you think?
5.
5%? I think it's a lot higher than that. Most loans are assumable with qualifying. But there are very few, if any, anymore, that are assumable loans without qualifying. And so we were talking this morning on Witsy, just so you know, the past history, FHA loans used to be a $45 fee, and it was a full novation loan, meaning seller was completely removed from the liability of that loan, and the buyer assumed the responsibility. And if the buyer didn't make the payments, the buyer was foreclosed on, but it had no ramifications against the seller. And what was happening is, if I couldn't go out and get a loan on a house, but I really, really, really wanted to buy it, And I went to Brooke, and Brooke's got all kinds of money and stuff, so he can qualify for the loan. He'd qualify for the loan. I'm paying $45 after the fact, get the full novation. And we completely went around the loan qualifying process. And so the people that couldn't get the loan were the ones that were ending up with the property, and the banks were foreclosing, and then we had that whole issue. So they took away the assumability clause, but they put in there an assumable only with qualifying. Okay, and the only with qualifying part of things is if they are a complete flake and they don't qualify, well, they're not going to qualify for the assumption either. VA loans. VA loans have an assumability clause. But something that your veteran should know is that his eligibility is tied up on that property until that loan is refinanced and it's no longer tied there. And I heard a conversation here last week where somebody was going to tie up, or assume the veteran's VA loan. Just so you know, the veteran should be made aware that he might not be able to go out and get a new VA loan because his eligibility is still tied with that first loan. Okay, so by you having some privy knowledge to some of those things and not sharing it with the people puts us on the firing line should something go south. Okay, and so our get out of jail free card is possibility to do on sell clause. I don't review your documents for you. If that's something, if a buyer makes an offer asking to assume, you may want to check that out. Please initial, we had this conversation. Okay. Other than that, you guys are doing good business once again, and it doesn't really matter what the market's doing. I know my calls are coming up, and John, we'll talk again tomorrow.
I want to thank Dave.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stroking that ego, or at least placating me. I don't know which one it is. Before I get into kind of the meat of today, I just want to especially recognize a handful of folks. I want to recognize our friend Tony right here, who had his first closing and then the second one like 20 minutes later. Our friend Cynthia, who's not in the room, she just sent over her first signed ERS this morning. Our friend Shufa in the back. How long have you had your license? How long have you had your license? A week? Okay. He signed his first buyer over the weekend. That was fantastic. Got his first listing appointment this afternoon. Send him all of those good close them vibes. And I want to thank Grace for being the latest agent to trust her business with me and join Team Achieve. Thank you. So if I can remember how to use my phone, we're going to switch over to this quote that I saw this morning. Some of you might have saw it on my social media. I'm kind of huge on social media. That was a joke. I think I have 3 followers, and 2 of them are my mom's accounts. Anyway, expecting a trouble-free life because you were a good person is like expecting a bull not to charge because you're a vegetarian. Okay? Oh, I read that, and that's open for interpretation. It's funny, right? Proves a point, right? But really, we all have our own charging bulls in some ways, right? We all have our charging bulls. And the only thing we can really control in any of the situation is what? Who said that? Thank you, John. Thank you. What we do, how we show up, right? Right? The wind is going to blow. And do we step into it, or we just go with it, right? And so in life, man, get a therapist, get a life coach for that. In business, what are the things we can control specifically?
How many calls you make?
How many calls you make? How often you pick up the phone, right? How often you pick up the phone? Direct correlation to how many zeros in your name on the left side of the decimal. Okay. What else can we control? Our attitude, how well we communicate, how we show up. Do we hold a schedule? Do we hold ourselves to the same level of expertise that we're asking our clients to hold us to, right? And so this week, you're going to notice some charging bulls, right? It's going to happen. I wish it wasn't, but it's going to happen, okay? I challenge you to be intentional and purposeful in how you react and what you control. If you'd love to talk business, mindset, my office is open. Come see me. It's a pleasure to be in business with you. Thanks.
Bounce coach.
Okay. So fairly light, but I'm gonna be, we're gonna be doing a language of sales light version today at 12:30. So 1 hour, we're really just gonna focus on two pieces, embedded commands and tie downs. And if you're looking to increase your conversion, show up, I'll give you some nuggets. You guys literally go out and drive your conversion by 10 to 15, maybe 20%. And then tomorrow, 11 to 12, marketing with Scott Leroy, print marketing with Scott Leroy on Thursday, and referral overview with Scott Leroy on Friday. So thinking ahead, next month, Gary Keller is doing a profit, I don't know if it's a profit camp, but it's got a profit share training. That's happening on October 6th, and we've reserved this room for you guys all to be a part of that. So, look out for that. Sean's gonna be helping us spearhead that. And just a quick plug, I've been gone the last couple of weeks. I see tons of purple, bold. If you have not been to Bold, get there. Show of hands, who have been to Bold? Okay. Yep, who's going this time? Right. So here's the thing, you'll learn a little bit today in language of sales. You'll learn a lot through 6 weeks of Bold to drive your business. So okay.
Thank you so much.
Question.
Yeah.
I have take command of your MREA business down on Thursday. Is that still happening or no?
Yes.
It is? Yeah, okay.
Oh, we should probably get that.
Yeah, we should, yeah. We should do that as
I
well.
just wanted to-
All right, so we have take command of your business with Kim happening Thursday. That's all I got.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, well, Mike, since you brought it up, Bold, raise your hand if you are going to Bold. Okay, awesome. So I just saw, South Valley has 10, we have 8 people going, so we're in second place. But I
Just a
want us to
second,
be in
Sean.
first.
Hold on.
If everyone just signs up for the first day of Bold, it's totally free. You've got that. Let them convince you that it's an amazing program. Does anyone have any hesitation on Bold? Okay. Linda, what one thing you got out of Bold? Well, you've been there 10 times.
13.
13 times. And this is still learning. And this is the best year you've ever had that you're having right now.
Yes, and I think the biggest thing to get out of Bold is really getting your mindset right so that you can run a business like this.
Thank you. Thank you. If I could ask anything, I would ask you just to sign up for the first day. I always want us to be number 1, so it's very hard for me to have us be number 2.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Linda just said it, mindset. We're going into the market's different, right? It's not any harder, right? It's gonna be hard in any market you go to. What Bold will do for you, I guarantee it, if you plug in 6 months from now, you're gonna be the best $1,000 you do that.
And 6 months is gonna pass anyway.
Well,
Thank you, Mike. All right, this is just some information on stats, and we'll send that out on why to go to Bold. Risa, why should we go to the golf tournament?
Because it's so much fun,
Yeah.
and we raise a ton of money for our charities. I still need raffle prizes. Ashley Barkley has given me like a bazillion of them, well, 3 or 4. And Angela, what's your last name, Angela? Henderson just gave me an awesome one, a 60-minute massage. At first she told me 60 hours.
Yes,
Good on that.
But gift baskets, gift cards, items.
Everything, it's much more fun. And Spencer, I wanted you to talk about our KW Cares chair, you and Shad.
Yep, me and Shad at KW Cares, and Risa is the one who's putting all this together because she's awesome. Go Risa! But I have a sign-up sheet right here.
We're almost there.
We're pretty darn close. By show of hands, who has signed up or is on a team? Oh, Mark isn't signed up. Oh, he can't golf. Dang it.
oh, sorry. Yeah.
Are you ready?
You know what? I was gonna offer, I'll drive the cart around.
And
just
do you know,
order
can
drinks.
you
No,
drink?
that's way enough.
So I'll be honest, it is one of the funnest events of the year. There will be adult beverages, whether you drink or not. Either way, it's super fun. You don't have to know how to golf. Like, I haven't golfed a single time this year, but it's just fun to get out there with clients and
a good cause is a good cause.
And it's a great cause, always a good cause. So I'm going to send this around. If you have not signed up, on this back page, on the very last page, you can sign up as a single.
We have lots of singles.
We will put you as a team.
Some with just 3
So
people on a team.
this very last page, I'm gonna put singles on this column. So if you want to sign up as a single, go ahead and do that.
You do not need to know how to golf. Correct?
You do not need to know how to
It's
golf.
really helpful if you have somebody on your team that can.
At least one. You might be holding up the whole.
Last year I was just grabbing the ball and throwing it back on the green.
But it's a great way to connect with your sphere, invite them, you know, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Lee mentioned that she's probably done, you know, 150,000 in GCI just by inviting people to this event and getting referrals from them in the future. So it's a great way to get in front of your people, whether they're your preferred vendors, your clients, or if you just want to get together with people in the office. There are quite a few teams. There are other agents that just teamed up. I know Sean is on a team typically with a few other people, Corey and Rich, and they have all sorts of fun. So the huge. So please sign up. It's a great event. It's a ton of fun. And once again, there are people who will, there will be groups who are serious golfers that want to do their thing. There will be other groups that are just out there to have fun, and that's totally okay.
And just so you know, I drive around in the cart selling raffle tickets, and if somebody's holding up the rest of the crowd, don't get mad at me for asking you to move on, because that does happen sometimes. And especially if you're having too much fun and too much champagne or beer or whatever, maybe you need to move on. I'll just ask you to move on.
I think we call that swing moves.
Lunch is provided. Breakfast is not, but they will be open and serving breakfast for purchase if you'd like to show up. Shotgun start at 8 a.m. So get there a little early. We'll be able to hit some buckets of balls and warm up and just kind of get settled in. So check-ins between 7:45, and shotgun start at 8. Does anybody have any questions?
Is there any marketing pieces that you guys put together that we can email out or Twilio out? I mean,
We'll get
for
something out.
both inviting your clients and for the gifts and things.
Yeah, give me some raffle tickets. We'll get something out in the
Because
next
it's a
day.
write-off and, you know, people
For sure.
need write-offs.
Yeah, we all have clientele who are business owners. You can always hit them up, just let them know what's going on. Some of us work in restaurants previously, becoming full-time realtors. Maybe hit up some contacts there for some gift cards.
We need lots more raffle.
We could definitely use some more raffle prizes. Rich has got like 6 snowboards he's gonna donate.
Probably not, but, and we have a sponsor for every hole, I believe. Those are our vendors, we get to
Pretty
play
close
games,
to.
get to know our vendors.
Yep, so we'll have some of our preferred vendors there. They sponsor holes. We can have conversations with them as we're going through and planning. It's a great way to connect with them and share our thanks for being so supportive of the office as well.
Ann Atkin is not able to come this year because she was previously engaged. And so I don't know how much booze we're gonna have, so we might want to bring something you like.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
and
a charity
also-
event.
Charity.
Also, we just looked and the forecast goes through next Thursday and the high is supposed to be 80.
Oh, that would be-
So it's
The
gonna be
weather's
a
going to be
perfect day for
perfect.
golf.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Yes, Andy.
Just say how many balls you play.
It's a full
It's the whole
18.
thing. That's why
You don't have to play all 18 if you don't want to.
It's a scramble, right?
It is a scramble, so you're really,
Not golf,
And
you
you're
don't
in
know
a
what a
car.
scramble is.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, I don't know anything about golf, but I feel like I have clients who would be interested. Can you help me if I have clients who want to come? Like, is that a terrible idea for me?
Not at
Like,
all.
what do I do?
Well, you don't want to
I'm
be
not
better
golf
than that,
person?
really. That's
No,
it.
I'll talk to you after. Okay, no, that's.
We can chat more about that. Any other questions?
You very much.
So we're gonna see everybody there on the 16th?
Yes.
Thank you for all your work.
You're welcome.
Teresa, thank you.
Please don't everybody wait till 7:45 to check me in.
Yeah, come early to check. All right, moving right along. Oh, guess what time it is?
Time for a drawing.
Time to pick out who is our big winner. Lynette, will you come tell me, please? So this prize was if you brought a friend to a training or some kind of event that we had, you got to put your name in here. Let's have, I want to do like a big giant, everybody do this thing on your desk. Here we go. For how much?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Syria? Oh.
Lynette Rosenbach. Just kidding.
Sean,
Brenda Espinoza.
To win?
Right, she's
You won $1,000.
I
Brenda, you are always so great at bringing agents, friends to team meetings and trainings, and it just paid off. So thank
I
you
know.
so much.
Thank you.
Brenda's my
We'll
love.
get you some. How much is on there? No. Congratulations. All right. Sawyer, will you come up? So who knows who this guy is?
This is Sawyer.
Handful to you.
Sawyer.
Last couple of weeks.
Sawyer, I'm so excited for people to get to know you here. Sawyer is our brand new assistant team leader for this office. We have never had an assistant team leader in this office, which is so crazy. Well, first of all, tell me, how long have you been in real estate?
Yeah, I've been in real estate just since March of this year, so I got licensed just this year. So still relatively new to the industry, which is kind of fun. So
Yeah, super new.
have a lot to learn, but obviously being at Keller Williams has been a great place to learn. It's been fun.
Where were you? What industry were you in before?
Yeah, prior to this, I was doing tech. So I worked for a couple startups. I worked for Podium, if any of you are familiar with that, and Divvy, so two really fast growing startups here in Utah. I was early in those, which was really fun. So I saw them at really small stages and then saw them grow. And Divvy, we just got purchased for $2.5 billion. So that was really crazy to see us go from like a little teeny baby startup to like playing with the big dogs. So that was my experience. The last like 7 years have been in the tech space. And then I also have a marketing agency that I run. So I've always worked with small businesses, and with our agency, same thing. We used to do a lot of performance marketing, and then we kind of switched to a lot of small businesses needing help with just like strategy, marketing strategy, branding strategy. And so we really pivoted, and it's been really fulfilling. So those are my two things that I've been doing over the last 7 years.
You're a real slacker.
Yeah.
Running your own
Don't know.
And you and I talked a little bit about how different tech is. What would you say you're bringing from that industry? I think it's exciting, and we all come from something. So what would you say you're bringing into this industry, particularly this position?
Yeah, there's a lot. So it's been kind of interesting doing the both, right? So in working in the tech industry, it's a lot of B2B. So both the companies that I was with were B2B, which kind of gives us that sense of like this role, right? Like you're all your own business owners. And so I'm so excited to get to jump in and help you guys with your businesses. But then both of our products that we were with in the tech industry were directly serving small businesses. So again, your guys' clients. So I have a really strong understanding of one, like operational, how businesses work. You know, it's really challenging to get into any industry and figure out like the insides of how things work operationally. And then you have to pair that obviously with marketing and sales and revenue. And then there's just kind of this middle balance of branding that often is overlooked in a way that I've really enjoyed just working with, again, my clients and these companies, is to kind of marry all three of those things together. So with you guys, I'm really excited to like see what's working really well operationally and where are our shortcomings, what can we improve there? And then how are you guys just directly impacting your direct business? How are you guys driving revenue? And then that middle ground, again, it's like, how are we creating brands that you guys are proud to be of that are also generating business, so that again, it plays into both of those, right? I feel like brand often plays into both operations and sales. And so that's what I'm super excited to work with all of you guys individually within your businesses, is to marry all three of those things together.
And in this position, well, first of all, so that's what kind of appealed to you about the position?
Yeah, for sure. It is.
Being able to
And I
help
love-
the agent with their business?
Yep, and collaborating. I love collaborating and just bouncing ideas, and that's kind of been the people that I've interacted with early. You'll notice that I love just bouncing ideas back and forth a lot, just to kind of understand how you guys do your business and how I can be of value. So that's really what intrigued me about this role, is like, day to day, I just gotta work with you guys to bounce ideas. And then the same thing in the overall brokerage is getting that scaled up, where we're bringing on more agents and bring them into this beautiful business, which is Keller Williams.
And you did a lot of recruiting too in your, so as you and I have talked, in this position, it would be probably half and half, helping our agents with the business and then bringing more talent in, which is gonna help all of us.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
What have you observed about this office since you've been here?
Yeah,
Besides the fact that we're number one.
yeah, for sure.
But that's not-
All the time. It's really the culture. I'm such a huge people person, and working with Shauna, that was obviously the first thing that was like, okay, this is where I want to be, and made it a no-brainer. But then just all of you guys have been so welcoming to me in my early stages of just conversations and in passing, because it's always overwhelming, you know, to step into a new role as someone new. And you guys have all just been so incredible. Like, I feel like I know some of you already so well, and I can't wait to get to know you. But the culture is seriously just something that stands out to me as I've observed, is there's just this culture of helping each other, right? It's like, again, we're all individual business owners, but like, you can go and talk to any agent and they are willing to help. And that's special. Like, I've been and worked with enough businesses to know that is most of the time not the case. It's like, it is very in any industry, and that's not just real estate. Like, you go and sit down and ask someone that you're competing with for help, and it's not good. And so that's been my favorite part of this office in the first little bit.
I just wanted to say good things about us.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, that's the other thing, is I just gotta follow what Shauna does and I'll look good, so that's like the best part of this.
Everything you do, Shauna can do, so we're so happy, I'm so happy to have you collaborate with you on that. And as you and I were talking, I want, the leadership team has an opportunity in this meeting, we're gonna start doing that weekly, where you're gonna be giving a tip for all of our agents on what they can do with their business, maybe examples of what it could do better in terms of websites and such, so.
Yeah, so I'm also very feedback oriented, so I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on what you guys would like help with, or different perspective. And again, I kind of bring that branding and marketing and business strategy. So I'll just kind of bring tips that I've found that have worked really well for my clients or in past businesses. And hopefully be able to pass that on to you. And then same thing, like, I don't take anything personally. So if I bring something, you're like, well, that was not it. Like, let's get something else. Like, let me know. But I'm excited to share some of my knowledge with you guys and then help implement that into your businesses. So,
And I'm excited that I won't have to answer all these tech questions.
Yeah.
That a lot. Just kidding. Don't really have to talk about that. As you know, what was it, we all chose to be at Keller Williams. When you were brand new agent, why did you come to this company? You spoke a lot about the culture in this office in particular, but what was powerful about the company? Why did you choose?
Yeah, so going back to culture, so not to repeat myself, that was a huge driving force. And then the second was opportunity. Again, same thing, like, it's fun coming in with fresh eyes and being recruited. You know, at first I was like, oh man, everyone wants me to join their team, I'm so cool. And then you just kind of realize that's just kind of how real estate is. But at the same time, it was fun to see, again, the operations in the back end and the opportunity that other brokerages are providing to their agents, right? I think there's a lot of easy ways to fluff what you're doing from a brokerage standpoint. I think there's a lot of brokerages that do a good job at that. And then once you dive into the actual inner workings of it, right, that doesn't line up with what you're saying. Whereas Keller Williams was the exact opposite, right? So come in and everyone that said, hey, I can help you, or hey, I can give you this tip, or come to training or class, whatever it was, like the people showed up and they delivered on their word, which is again just a huge, I guess part of my decision making is like being with people that just do what they say they're going to do, but execute at a really high level. So I think Keller Williams executed on that really well and just made it feel like just a no-brainer. Honestly.
And Kara's pretty awesome.
And Carrie's the best. So that was
We got
just,
to meet Carrie.
yeah, that was,
It was my.
yes, Carrie's the reason I'm here. So shout out to Carrie. She's the best.
The people make the place pretty special. We talked a lot about mindset. First thing was talking about mindset today. How important is mindset and gratitude in your life?
Oh, it's huge. I'm gonna get vulnerable with you guys. So like I've been in some really bad places with depression and anxiety in my life, and have been in some places where I honestly thought I was trapped and felt like, you know, the decisions that I've made were gonna lead me just to like depression and sadness and a lot of hard things in my life. And I'm also an open book, so if anyone wants to chat through that type of stuff, I'm willing to. But the mindset is huge, and not just in business, but in life, obviously, is how we take these principles. And I think that was the hardest thing for me, is taking all these principles and hearing someone say like, oh, it's just as easy as this, or it's just follow this piece of advice, or like just choose to be happy or whatever, right? All these things, and getting to the spot of like consuming content or consuming these types of feedback and then implementing them. And that's when my mindset really shifted. And that is another thing that I really appreciate about Keller Williams, is just this importance of mindset, but then again, like these frameworks that help people implement them in business, in life, culturally, and all these things. And so it plays a huge part of my day-to-day life of gratitude. And it's really hard to get me down now, like, which is funny. So if you ever see me upset, like something's really wrong. And my wife, she always jokes of like, if I'm even having a bad day, she's like, okay, what's going on? Like, let's calculate and figure it out. But this sense of gratitude just for, again, opportunities to get to work with all of you and to get to rub shoulders with people that I think are just amazing. Like every single one of you has something that I will take from it, if that makes sense, from a mindset point of view, right? Where I can just take what you guys have built and that 5 good thoughts and processes, I will take that. And I really appreciate it. And I also love being that for other people too. So again, business always goes on. And that's something that I really learned in my career, is like, at the end of the day, like business goes on, but like people and like relationships and how we feel is the most important. Like, let's take care of that first. So that's also an open invite to come and talk to me about anything going on in your life. And I'm happy to try to help.
I love that. I love that. In terms of advice, can you think of the best advice you've ever been given or taken?
Yeah,
Give lots of it.
that's hard. Probably the one that's really stuck with me the last probably like a year and a half is control the controllables. I'm someone that really likes to have my hand in a lot of things. I like to actively find solutions. I'm very solution oriented. I want to just like get things done. And that got me to this point of like trying to control things that I actually can't control. And so that lately has been my piece of advice that has really helped me strategize better, help my own businesses, help my clients, help whoever, is like understanding what we can control, what we can't. And then I think a lot of that kind of that second phase of that is often like forget about the things that you can't control. And I think I've also tried to put a spin on how do I flip that into a positive. So something that I can't control, like how can I make that work for me? I can't control it, but what's something I can do to make that better? Right, so I can control, and then I can at least have a better framework for the things that I can't. So I'm not just forgetting about it. So again, for my solution-oriented mind, that at least gives me that peace of mind. But I'm not controlling it, but I'm going to have, I can get control of my mindset about it. I can control, how I think about it or how it plays into the solution.
It's very important in this industry.
Yeah.
It all starts with mindset, I believe. What are you reading right now?
Oh, I'm bad. I'm not a reader. I do podcasts and
What are you
podcasts I
listening
listen to. So lately, School of Greatness by Lewis House. If anyone's listened to that, he just does such a good job of interviewing. I recommend it to anyone. And I love him because he takes people that are writing books or building businesses, and he really dives deep and gets into that strategy. So again, like any type of podcast that is about anything business or mindset related, that's my jam. Because it's kind of my business school. Like I didn't go to school. I did a semester of college. It's like, I can't do this. It's not how I learned. So podcasts have kind of been that guidance for me.
I'm super excited for you to be part of this family and community, and then what you're going to bring to everyone's business is what I'm so excited about as well.
Okay.
So, does anyone have any questions for Sawyer? John?
When's your first class?
No.
My first class, TBD. So we're getting ingrained in all the things here shortly. So again, it's been kind of whirlwind, so it's still kind of getting to know everybody, but hopefully we can have some really structured where you guys can meet with me and how I can help you guys individually. And then also just resources for when I'm not there and building out some of that backend stuff will be fun. So TBD on that, but soon.
What would you like to see?
Yeah.
Well, what you bring.
Yeah.
You know, you bring a dimension that it's very important to our businesses. Right, so you have a variety of things, and so you can just start off one after the other, and I'll be there.
Okay. That's good.
I love that. John, Dave?
You recently had first in your business. What was it?
Yes, I had my first closings today.
Yeah!
Which was a double-sided, very stressful, which they are, come to close, but again, congrats on that. You also had another first, hopefully not a second.
Last week, 2 weeks ago.
You got married.
That is my second, dang it.
We all have.
Yeah.
So you're.
Any last minute, okay? Do you have questions?
Any other questions?
Oh, no. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for, we're so happy. to
Thank
have you. I'm going to start next week with Sawyer's business tip, team meeting business tip.